Hello, everyone, and welcome back for our next presenter here at Hit Points in History 2024. We have Ahmed Alameen. Ahmed is going to be telling us a lot here about My Father Lied, a mystery that reveals history and myths. So, just a little bit of background on Ahmed. He is an Iraqi writer and indie game developer, and his screenplay, Children of Mesopotamia, received awards and nominations by international writing competitions for Best Feature Screenplay and won a Best Writer and the Golden Script Award at the Paris Screenplay Awards for his screenplay Once Upon a Time in Baghdad. With the desire to bring more stories inspired by Mesopotamian history and myths to the gaming world, he started making his first debut game, My Father Lied, to tell a story from where the first stories were written. Without any further ado, Ahmed, please approach the stage and take us away with your presentation. And just like before, we will have time at the end here for a Q&A session. This presentation will be about 30 minutes.
All right, can everyone hear me well?
We can hear you.
All right, that's great. So I'm gonna start sharing my slide, and thank you, by the way, for introducing me so epically, by the way. All right, so let's see. All right, can you please tell me if you can see my slide right now?
Yep, we are seeing it now. And just as a quick tech reminder for anyone, if you're ever trying to navigate the space and are seeing something full screen that you don't want to, you can always press the escape key on your keyboard, or in the upper
Mhm.
right corner, there should be a little white square with a drop down. You can change to the carousel or grid view if you need to navigate as well. But we are seeing a full screen there, Ahmed. If you want to go ahead and take us away, please do.
Sure. Yeah, sure. First of all, I'd like to thank everyone for coming here. First of all, I'd like to thank you, Dan and Hadley and Digital Hammurabi for making all this possible. I'd like to also thank Dr. Kate for starting this event, for giving this event a strong start, and hopefully I can keep the momentum going. So hopefully everyone is settled in, and here we go. Well, Dan already introduced me, but hopefully I can add something extra. My name is Ahmed and Amin, and like he said, because there were a shortage in stories inspired by Mesopotamia, I started to creating my own stories, starting with the Epics of Enkidu comic books, which is still going. And he already mentioned that I won some humble awards in screenplay writing, in like Children of Mesopotamia and Once Upon a Time in Baghdad, which won recently as the best screenplay in Paris Screenplay Awards. So I started this new indie game company called Lunar Games, and because of my love for Mesopotamian history and myths and everything wonderful that not so many people know about, I decided to create this logo, which is the one of the oldest board games known in human history, the Royal Games of Ur, which was found in the Royal Cemetery of Ur by Leonard Woolley, which is where I'm standing right now. This is me in 2018 in front of the Royal Cemetery, in front of Sholgi's cemetery to be exact. And because I wanted to really do something inspired by that land, I did this indie game company, which I wish to tell more stories about Mesopotamia, starting with My Father Lied. Um, so what is My Father Lied? Mainly it is a story-rich mystery puzzle adventure that tells the story of a daughter who everyone calls Huda, but her actual name is in Hidwana, which is the name of the oldest known writer in human history. And in my game, she finds herself following an unfathomable secret regarding her father's 20 years disappearance, which will lead her to this unknown fictional museum filled with some historic facts, some historic fiction, and a lot of puzzles. Um, so yeah. So why is there a fictional museum under the ground with so many puzzles? Well, I cannot, reveal that at the moment. You're gonna have to find out later when by the end of the years because I don't like spoilers. So why Mesopotamia? I did mention earlier because I want to make stories from that region, but what's interesting about that area in particular? Well, it happens to be where people first started writing with their thinking, and what's happening around them. And they also have clashed with many civilizations during the time. So the amount of things they collected during that time is a gold mine to writers. And that's me under Nabu in the Baghdad in the Iraqi museum. So there are so many stories that can be inspired by Mesopotamia. Stories about like Sargon the Akkadian, who's credited for creating the first empire. There's the king of Namu, who's credited for creating the first laws. And we can talk about King Amisaduka, who with the tablet of Amisaduka, the Venus tablet, which is credited to be one of the oldest records of astronomy. Outside of all these things I mentioned, we can even create stories related to Egypt, Greece, Persia, and India because they clashed throughout history, like for me. Even stories related to World War One can be told through have Mesopotamian spice, let's say, in it. Like here, there's a Mesopotamian font, which was in World War II. In fact, there's an article by Arthur Maloney where he cites that the start of the World War One, one of the reasons that World War One started is because the Berlin-Baghdad railway station, and he cites in his article that he cites an article from Britain where it says that this railway station is a bullet aimed toward Britain, which affects their rule in over India. Of course, these are just things I found. Some articles you can find everywhere and can inspire so many stories. It doesn't have to be real. It could be just a conspiracy theory, but you either can think that the war started due to economical reasons, or it's because some guy named Archduke who shot an ostrich because he was hungry. By the way, if you understand this reference, we are already best friends. So also outside of that, there are some many historical figures who have been to Mesopotamia. This is one of them, Sir Francis Chesney, who actually was trying to find the shortest way. This is a picture from my old demo from my video game, by the way. This guy started to try to find the shortest way to India from England. He was charting the place, and there are some things from his journals that kind of incredible, and unbelievable, which you can use in any story you want. And thankfully, it fits my narrative, my story. And not only that, there are many historical figures like Agatha Christie, where she met her second husband during his expedition in my hometown, by the way, which is something I like, to think about. So, the fictional stuff about my game. My video game on Steam page has many tags like puzzle, story-rich, mystery, but one of the tags is Lovecraftian. And the reason why it has that is because it's not because it's a horror game mainly. This is a misconception, I think. It's not always a horror game that is Lovecraftian. It's not always about tentacles, and it's just the idea of knowing that how small we are in this world, in this cosmic world, in this dimensional wonder, and the works of H.P. Lovecraft, the ones that stood prominent, are those that talk about ancient beings that existed eons ago, old, dormant, and out of our sights, and of course the slow descent to madness, which can be thrilling as a story, but it's not terrifying in my game. In fact, My Father Lied is actually an allegory for Nana's descent to the underworld. There is so many actually hints about fictional, about other dimensions that makes me think about Lovecraft when I think about Mesopotamia sometime. For example, in the oldest story known in human history, the Epic of Gilgamesh, there's a mention, there's a passage which I would like to quote from. He turned his stare toward me, and he led me away to the palace of Alcala, the queen of darkness, to the house from which none who enter ever returns, down the road from which there is no coming back. I like these things, you know. It's the story mainly is, like I said, it's an allegory to the descent, um, and then it's descent to the underworld. With each progress, we lose something of ourselves, and nothing is more valuable than to lose than sanity. But is there a way out? Is someone going to sprinkle the water of life and food? Is the Father, the All Father, going to help us? Is there hope? Well, it's a puzzle. It's a puzzle game. It's a puzzle, and puzzle gets solved eventually. And that's the inner message in my game that I like to share with the world, with the people who are experiencing hardship and during these desperate times, that there is always hope. All right. So to the boring parts, I'd like to just share one quote from in Hinduana's poem, Lament to the Spirit of War. You triumph over all human rights and prayers. Who can explain your triad? Why you carry on? So hopefully there's hope. So the design of the game, mainly the game looks 3D, but actually I made it to look like that, but in fact it's a 360-degree image. That's how the game looks outside in the engine. The reason why I made it that way, it's all images in the game, even though you can look around, is because I want to make the game to work well and look well, graphically well, even in low spec computers. Um, because I was thinking about when I made the game, I was thinking about Iraqi people and people who cannot afford a strong computer. I want them to enjoy the experience, you know, and and help to spread the about my ancient civilization toward a greater circle of people. So, and also you can think as that this game is like the cylinder seal of video game. And there's something poetic about it, you know, to create a game about ancient civilization, which is credited by for dividing a circle into 360 degrees. So, I don't know. So, the culture part about the game, like I mentioned, well, there are some people who say that studying ancient history, ancient religion, learning about different pantheons is and rites is a waste of time. And honestly, I think of those people are no different than those who say, why spend money on going to space? But if it wasn't for that, we wouldn't be talking right now. So studying ancient religion really tells us a lot about the culture of the region. It even shows some similarities, with the notable difference being the key factor in determining those cultural aspects of, say, people and even politics. Like we have gods of thunders in Norse mythology and Greek mythology, but you don't have a sandstorm god like we have in Egypt. Hopefully, I'm not wrong with that. So yeah, so like there's also some religious things that can affect history, like you can read in this book, this wonderful book by Mark van die Meerop. Hopefully, I did not butcher his name. King Hammurabi biography. It's a very nice book, and he mentioned in that book that in the river Tigris they have this rite Mari people used to use, where they have to cross it if someone is accused of something. You have to cross it, and it's a very strong current. If you can cross through alive, then you are innocent, but if not, you're gone. And King Hammurabi actually wanted to use that river to because they have some tar and some things that he can use to build his boats. And eventually it led to the war between, one of the reasons that led to war between Hammurabi and the king of Mari, of course. So that's an example how religion and economy and kings exploiting these things that can lead to great wars. And no hungry ostrich hunters were seen that day. And thank you. I I spoke faster than I thought. So yeah, that's about it at the moment. Yeah, it's a quick talk.
Well, thank you, Ahmed. I know you probably can't hear the audience, so I will give you a round of applause myself here. That doesn't pick up great in the mic, so I won't physically do it. But with the same process we had for other speakers, I want to welcome anyone who has questions, comments, to please approach that Q&A line over towards the right. Remember, you don't have to be on video to do that. You can also always go ahead and add those questions or comments in the chat as well. But once more, thank you, Ahmed, for that presentation.
Thank you.
And Julie, please go ahead.
Hi Ahmed, thank you for that presentation. I'm really curious about this game. When is it coming out? Do you
Well,
know?
mainly I don't yet. No, by the end of the year. I'm planning to release it by the end of the year, but there are so many indie games out there that I've seen that have been delayed. But so far, everything is going through according to plan. So hopefully, I'm going to release it by the end of the year. And the reason why I want to release it by the end of the year, because for me, I believe puzzle games are played much better in a colder weather. So yeah, the start of vacation, the start of winter, people can solve some puzzles.
Thanks, Dan.
Julie, thanks for that question there, a very relevant one. And just to go along with that, I have put a link to the Steam page for My Father Lied into the chat, so anyone who's curious to check it out, perhaps even to wish list the game. I know that's always helpful for developers.
Thank you.
And I will shamelessly ask then, Ahmed, any other ways people who are interested in the game can get updates, find out more, support the project?
I'm sorry. So does anyone have any other question?
Oh, I was just asking, beyond
Oh,
following.
sorry, I hear you very well. You asked me how they can, hear about. Oh, okay, you can check my. Mostly I'm on Twitter actually. Lunar Games Orok. I also have my YouTube channel lunargames.babylon. I have lunargames.sumeria. That's my TikTok, and Lunar Games. Sorry, Assyria is TikTok. Sumeria is the Instagram, and also um, you can check my website lunargames.co.uk. So you can find me there. You can keep, update. You can learn more about my game, and of course the Steam page, which Dan so graciously shared, uh, will you can check more and learn more about the game there. I guess no one might have any more questions. I might. Oh, thanks. Okay, thank you, Daniel. Alright, I'm off.
Well, thank you once more, Ahmed. I want to thank all of our presenters. And just to give everyone a little preview here for what is next on the Hit Points in History agenda, we have our next presentation at 12 p.m. Central Time, noon. And this will actually be a multi-person presentation from Megan, Lexi, and EL. They will be presenting for us. Let me get our official title here. The Reception of Ancient Mesopotamia in House of Ashes. So it'll be coming up in about 40 minutes, so you have plenty of time here to get a snack. Again, check out the exhibition hall. I'll be posting some more links. Thank you for letting me know, Daniel, that I have the wrong Twitter there. The wrong Lunar Games. My apologies. I'll get the correct one up there shortly. And in the meantime, you can check out those links there. And all the other stuff from our presenters, the exhibition hall, play some of the games from the Game Jam. But yeah, thank you all for joining us here for Hit Points in History 2024. We'll be coming back again with our 3 presenters at noon, 12 p.m. Central Time in about 35 minutes.